Welcome to Hammer and Nails with Skip and Alison Bedell.
What's going on, everybody?
Isn't that the Tonight Show, the old one?
Yeah, right. Johnny Carson, right?
Here's Skip.
Epic man.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's happening, everybody? I'm Skip Bedell.
I'm Alison Bedell. Thank you so much for coming back to Hammer and Nails podcast.
You guys are the best.
Yes, our listeners are the best.
Gluttons for punishment.
Thank you for
keep coming back for more of our nonsense.
Yes. They are a very special crowd.
Yeah.
It takes a very particular type of person that can actually stand to listen to me on purpose.
Taste.
Yeah, on purpose, twice a week. Right. You guys are awesome. All three of you.
Speaking of which, we want to really thank our supporters. There are a few of you out there that are kindly contributing to the Hammer Nails podcast, not only by telling your friends about it and spreading the love verbally, but also subscribing on our PayPal site. And we really want to give a big shout out to all the people that are doing that and give you back some love because you've given us lots of love. And
I don't want you to think
really
that we forgot about you. We really appreciate it. It really does help us out a lot because it does cost a lot for us to put out this podcast every month with no advertising or any income on it. So thank you so much. And
you guys are the best.
I have more exciting news. In addition,
more news?
In addition,
wait a second, hold on. You got more news?
More exciting news.
Oh, okay.
In addition to the addition of YouTube. And by the way, you guys, if you didn't already hear, we are now available on YouTube. So for all of you people who are not tech savvy or for some reason it's difficult for you to get our podcast and all the multitude of ways. Yeah. Or if you wanted to share it with a friend and they're like, it's too complicated. I don't get it. What the fuck's a podcast? How do I find it? Like, even my cousin who loves us and wants to listen, she's still, but it's hard for me to find. Like, she doesn't get it because she's not internet savvy. But everybody who at least has a computer is familiar with YouTube. So all you got to do is go onto YouTube, do a search for Hammer Nails Podcast, and you get to listen to all of our episodes right there.
There it is.
So easy breezy.
Couldn't be any easier than that.
In addition to that, as of today, I submitted the information to have our episodes log on to iHeartRadio.
What?
Yeah, our podcast host provider or whatever they are called, they now have their podcasts on iHeartRadio. I haven't actually listened to it yet or found it yet because I think I'm supposed to get an email back, but it should only take within a couple of days, if anything, and you will be able to find it on iHeartRadio, which I'm super stoked about.
Yeah, podcasts are really growing by leaps and bounds in popularity. So everybody wants a piece of that action, it sounds like, right? Like, you find like all these different avenues and networks, and how many people have come to us and want to make a video version of it, which you still are like, I don't want to do it.
Don't want to do it.
Which I think it's a great idea.
Do not want to do it.
Yeah.
But I think we have it's sort of like a video, but you're just staring at our logo the entire time if you go onto YouTube. You can just stare at the cartoon version of us.
I'll email you a picture.
Yeah.
Not the naked ones though. That's going to cost you. You definitely have to go on to PayPal for that.
Oh.
The problem is you don't really want to pay for that.
No.
I feel bad taking your money.
No. That's just ugly. It's ugly. Yeah. So I also wanted to say an apology. I wanted to give an apology to the people who very bravely listened to the last episode, and I didn't even mention it to you because I'm just too disgusted. There was clicking again in the first half of the episode, and now
I think it's time to get the tech engineer in to debug and get the ghosts out of the machines.
We are using a different computer to record so that we could avoid those problems, and I could use my laptop without having all these issues. And the laptop that we were originally using, these special programs and all that, we never had a problem with before. And so I went back to that one, and sure enough, the first time around, there was clicks. And unfortunately, we don't know that they exist until we're finished recording, and I go to listen back and insert all the little things I need to insert, and then there it is. And then I want to stab myself in the eyes. And then and then stab myself in the ears with screwdrivers because I'm just disgusted. that it happened again. And so I have to apologize because
that wouldn't really be fair to me, because then I got to do you with bloody eyes, bloody eye holes and ear holes.
You know what?
And you know how I love your ear holes. Yeah.
Well, all you need to worry about is the singular hole that you are going to be busy with, and just put a bag over my head. So, I'm sorry. I know that it's cheesy, it's unprofessional. It's really weak for you to have to listen to that clicking during a professional podcast. And all I can say is I'm sorry, because I thought I did something that would fix the problem, and it didn't. So I did make some adjustments on the mixer today, and hopefully it will be fine. It's really weird because we always do a sound check. Always.
Yeah.
Where I go testing, 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 and then you say
something.
And then I go
usually something very inappropriate.
Yeah, and then he goes cock and balls, cock and balls, cock and balls, cock and balls.
I don't say that.
Yes, you do.
No, not me.
And then I go fuck, 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 fuck.
You are too fun.
And I'm like, oh, sounds good. No clicks. Great, let's go. And then I close out that test, and we start recording fresh. And it was just such a disappointment.
So when we go over to the television studio and record our video version, our new talk show set version of our podcast, we won't have this issue.
Yeah, well, then there'll be no podcast because I'm not going.
Oh man, see, I cannot get her out of this studio to go over to that one just because we're going to do the video version. What's the big deal?
You seem to forget that this girl's at work for a long day.
Yeah,
long, hard day of protecting the world.
I get that. I get that. I do. I get that. We all have long, hard days. I get it. It's not only about that, though. It's about being able to give the listeners now the opportunity to be viewers.
You know what? When we reach more than 10 listeners, I will be more inclined.
I told you last I checked, it's 13.
Yeah, well.
Right? We're on the climb. We're on the come
I can tell if people are telling their friends or not.
We're on the come up.
And until we get more at a number that I am satisfied with, I just don't feel inclined to leave the house even once a week to travel and do it. It's a lot. We have these very full, busy lives, and we take a lot of time out of our week because we enjoy podcasting, but I don't enjoy driving and being away from home and the babies and food and my television set and all the things that it would take away from if I were to travel.
Even watch. All right.
Well, all right. There it is. There it is. So I would like to thank the listeners who keep listening and apologize for my unprofessionalism, because I have to say it's entirely my fault, I guess.
Well, it's not. Obviously, there's some technical issues.
I know, but I haven't
beyond your comprehension.
My capabilities.
I think we'll be back over to Joe Cumia's studio pretty soon.
Did you get the text message I forwarded on to you today?
No.
You didn't look at my text?
I did not. No.
See, do you see what I'm dealing with, people? My husband doesn't look at my texts because he doesn't find them important enough.
Care of
no. You're busy texting with other people and thinking that mine is not important enough. And if it was so important, I would just call you and tell you what it is. So you don't need to look, because I'll just tell you what it is later on.
Back and forth contracts for our new project. So, yeah.
Oh, that's what you were doing all day long. When you're sitting there taking a shit, of which I know you take like 4 a day, you could look at your phone and respond to my text.
Now, wait a second. I'm looking for your text. I don't see anything from you. Hang on a minute. Hang on. Hold on. See, I get this all the time. Mm-hmm. I get this all the time.
I get this all the time, that you don't get the text I send you because you don't care to look. Meanwhile, when you send me a text and you're like, wife?
I'm looking.
Wife?
I'm looking.
Hello?
I'm looking.
Trying to call you. Hello?
I don't see anything here.
What's the matter? You don't want to talk to me? Wife? I get all these texts if I don't write back to you right away. I'm like doing stuff at work and I'm still getting like, hello? Wife? When I'm busy.
All right, so where is it then? Stop flapping your lip and show me the text.
I'm going to show you the text on my phone, and it says that it was sent. Hang on. Here it is.
It's like a mud flap over there.
Here it is. Look at this. Today, 1:40 p.m.
That's your mouth.
That sounds like sex.
Yeah. It's about that speed. That's when I was like, that's when I'm like really in full motion.
That's very fast.
It starts out.
And then you start sweating. You're shaking the table. You're going to make clicks. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
1:40 p.m. today. Read it.
Let me see. Give me that.
Read
Hang
it.
on a second.
Read it.
What's this say? Hold on.
I took a screenshot of a text. Who am I texting with?
That's not Joe Cumia.
Who am I texting with?
Yeah, his girlfriend. I get it.
Okay.
All right.
And what'd she say? Read it.
All right, so we're going to dinner. Oh, that's right. Joe's birthday's this week.
See? Ooh. And I made plans for us to join the two of them for dinner to celebrate. So we have plans on Thursday. Surprise!
Oh, she texted you.
Yes, to ask us if we wanted to join.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah, and I said yes.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah,
They're
me too.
awesome.
Yeah, really sweet. But the downside of that...
This is the important text that you had to
tell
me about?
Okay, now this is...
publicly shame me in front of thousands and thousands of listeners
I'm shaming you because you don't look at my text. I send you texts all the time.
Shame me in front of 13 listeners?
Yes, you deserve it. Now this is my dilemma.
Shame.
I'm going to share it.
Shame. I
Ding,
need the bell.
ding.
Shame.
Ding
Shame.
ding. For you Game of Thrones
my
listeners.
Walk of atonement.
Yeah, walk of shame.
Oh, my walk of shame.
Yeah.
Right.
Ding, ding.
Yeah.
So this is my thing that I'm going to share with our listeners. And I know that you are going to say something to make me feel like an asshole, but this is I've discussed this before. I've discussed it before with actually concerning the same people. Oh. We've been to this restaurant before with them.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
It's a very expensive restaurant.
Food's good, though.
Food's awesome.
Yeah.
Can't wait to go. It's a very expensive restaurant, though. They drink a lot.
Yeah.
We don't.
Right.
The bill's going to be phenomenal.
It always is.
I fucking hate that. You know what I mean? Like, and if there's just two couples, of course we're going to split it. Because like the last time when we went to Joe's Crab Shack, whatever, I said we got our own check because we were 5 people at the table, and I was like, fuck, it'll just be easier instead of like splitting this thing like 5 ways. So I asked for our own check.
It's just
but
like
when
an
we go out with
uncomfortable feeling for me. It's always like uncomfortable.
Yes.
Yeah. Because like you don't ever mind like getting a separate check, and I always feel like it's.
It was like, but it was like
it kind of seems like it's like, oh wow, that's cheesy, you know. It just I don't know. It feels
but like
weird.
I know that like
Why
between
do I
just
feel
the two of them,
uncomfortable about that?
It's like at least $100 of alcohol just between the two of them.
Right.
And
so
because you're uncomfortable, we have to pay for their alcohol, and that makes me uncomfortable because it's not like splitting the bill, and it makes me want to order lobster.
Oh, so order so order
but
lobster.
I don't like lobster. You know what I mean? But it makes me feel like I have to order something more expensive to counter the alcoholic beverages.
Make up with it in food.
And I'm not cheap. You know, I'm not fucking cheap. I am not cheap. I am not cheap. I will give anything to anybody. I give great gifts. I am not cheap. The whole thing for me is that it's
the whole thing
for
for you is
one
that you don't
meal.
drink.
I don't drink, and it's a lot of money for one meal, and we're not loaded like that.
I was just talking to somebody recently, just recently about a place in I think it's in Roslyn or somewhere for dinner, and they took a bunch of their employees and they all went for dinner. It was like a $2,500 bill for what I forget how many people it was. It was like 10 people or something, right? So I'm thinking like, well, that's like $250 a person. That's like, what the fuck did you eat, right? So that kind of reminded me of like when we went to that restaurant in Hollywood, the
Morton's.
No, not Morton's.
Which
the
one?
Sushi place that we went to. It was like a $900 bill for the two of us. All right, now get this: $900
for my
two
birthday.
people to have sushi.
Yeah,
right?
My birthday dinner.
So you talk about a crazy bill.
That was N, starts with an N. N. What is it called? Oh, God. It's that famous place. All the celebrities go there. Fuck.
Yeah, it'll come to me.
It's got 4 letters.
Yeah.
I keep thinking Nemo, but that's the fish. That's the movie. Is it something like that? Numo?
Yeah.
Not Kumo?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Right. Anyway.
Nubo? No.
I don't know. It'll come to me.
Fuck.
So it's a super famous place in California. There's a couple of them over there. So anyway. So I'm thinking like, well, so I asked him, I'm like, well, what did you guys eat for $250 per person? And I'm thinking that's the only thing it could possibly remind me of that was $900 for the two of us, right? Which is even way more than that bill when you break it down, right? Like what could we have eaten that night? And we didn't have much alcohol. I had like a couple glasses of wine, or we had some sake or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It wasn't like anything like like a really super.
Yeah, no, we didn't do a lot of alcohol.
No,
it
was like an expensive bottle of wine. It was all food. It was all like really rare sushi or something like that.
No, not rare, just expensive.
Just different. Like it was like like select things they only had a couple of or whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
So it was Jimmy I was talking to, and he's got the mortgage firm and he was taking out his employees or whatever. So he goes, oh yeah, because it was mostly like alcohol and wine because they ordered a couple like really expensive bottles of wine or something like that. So if you were in that crowd of people, and they were dividing the bill, and you didn't drink anything, and it came out to $250 per person, and you didn't have anything to drink, you had like a couple of sushi rolls, you might be like, well, what the fuck? Right. So I can understand that, but like when you're going out with one other couple, it kind of, I don't know, I feel awkward doing that.
I know.
I don't really.
I know. And plus, it's going to be his birthday, so you can be like, no, it's your birthday. Let me pay.
Yeah. All right. Well.
And that last time we went there, it was like well over $300.
He does plenty of things for us, so it's nice once in a while to. Anyway, all right. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So I have anxiety over this. Well, I'm looking forward to spending time with them and enjoying a good meal.
You have anxiety over it because that I'm not comfortable with that, and then that's what you're comfortable with. So, yeah.
What?
You know that I'm uncomfortable with that.
With what?
With
not
splitting?
with
doing like the separate check thing.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, it's really not that big of a deal. So I don't know why you're having anxiety over anything. There's way better, more important things to worry about in the world. So.
Well, because I'm trying to save money now. I was trying to get rid of cable, and we're going to be having some new expenses. We're spending a shit ton on the kitchen of things that we need, and it's like. Its money is just like it's got little legs right now.
Yeah.
And it's like walking out of our door.
Yep. Yes, it is. That's what happens with money. You make it and you spend it.
I don't want and to spend it on one meal like that. It's like, oh my God, that's like a week's worth of groceries.
you really get like that
when we were in
much
California, we spent ridiculous amounts of money on going out with other people, we always offered to pay.
That's because we're living out of town for a portion of the year, and you're not cooking.
But
that
we
much
always offered to pay.
You don't even cook here. We definitely don't cook in California.
I know, but my point is
you
that
gotta eat, right? What are you gonna do? Not eat?
Oh, my point is, if you'd shut the fuck up. Is that despite the fact that we went out all the time, we went out with other people quite often, and we always offered to pay, and I always did it happily.
Right.
But now we're back to reality. We're home. It's just different, and I don't want to spend money like we did when we were living there.
All right. Well, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
All right. What else you got?
I'm looking at the top because I'm trying to remember what the fuck that name was of the restaurant. I'm looking at the top sushi bars like in Hollywood,
right.
And one of them is Sugarfish.
Oh yeah, Sugarfish,
which we went
awesome.
to. Oh
love
my
Sugarfish.
God, that was a really cool experience.
That's Rick and Pam's favorite place.
Yeah,
and
they don't have like a very extensive menu at all, yet it's one of the top-rated places.
Nobu.
Okay.
Nobu.
That's where we spent all that money. So one of the places is number 2. It says is Sugarfish over here on Yelp, and number 3 Katsuya.
Oh, Katsuya is really good.
We went there.
Love Katsuya.
Yeah, that's another place where they always have TMZ outside.
Right? Yeah.
We went there with their publicists, and we also took Adam and Lynette out to dinner there.
All right. Yeah.
See, and I had no problem with blowing that either.
But we didn't go to the one. That was a different Katsuya, right? Did we go to the one that was like
we
in
went
Hollywood?
to the original one with them.
Right.
It was like old, and it looked like you'd never find the place. It's like in the corner of some shitty shopping center.
The one we went to with our publicist was like new.
That was the downtown Hollywood one.
What's it with sushi restaurants
Sunset?
now? They're they're all like a nightclub, right?
Yes.
You walk into this music, and it's light shows, and everything is like.
Yeah.
You
I don't really
feel like
that.
you're like a strip club.
It's not
almost,
relaxing
right?
to me. It's more of a club atmosphere. I don't really prefer that
because I think it's like then it becomes like sushi after dark, and then it's like then the place like transforms into like the bar scene. More
and I'm not into that at all.
Yeah.
So that's not my favorite scene. But yeah, we went there with our publicist, and did she pay? I think she paid.
She did.
Yeah, and she had been there many times, and so she knew what to order. But did you notice?
That was some really good food.
It was really good, and she knew what to order, so she ordered let's try this, let's try this, let's try this.
Which, by the way, that's the problem I have with sushi restaurants because like when you read the menu, if you're into the fancy rolls and stuff. Now I'm not talking about like California rolls and basic shit like that. I'm talking about like the stuff that's like specific to or indigenous to that restaurant, right?
Yeah.
And they have their own names for them. And if you read the ingredients of each one of those rolls, there might be 30 rolls laid out on one page of the menu or maybe 2 pages of the menu. And many of them sound very much alike.
Right.
Maybe just 1 or 2 different ingredients that's different from roll to roll, right?
Right.
So it's almost like when you read those menus, and a lot of times there's like multiple pages on those menus, it's like too much information. It's like sensory overload. It's like I can't decide on anything because I get like I don't know which one I want, so then I just can't order, and I'm like the one person that, like, when the waiter or waitress comes to the table, like everyone else is ready, and I'm like, you go first
because we don't know.
I'm still reading.
Yeah, we don't know what's good.
No, I mean I know what I like.
Yeah,
I know what I like, but it's like
you
it's
want
like
the same thing every time.
I know, that's what I mean. You get like if you eat like those types of restaurants often, you feel like you're eating the same thing, just at a different place.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I like to try different things, but a lot of times they sound very much alike. So.
Yeah. Well, these restaurants, those expensive, the Nobu and the Kabuki.
Well, Nobu's in like a whole other. That's a whole other world. That place because that's like only like the
that food. I've
super
never had
high end like Hollywood elite like goes there and stuff, and it's hard to get a table in there and the whole thing. And the food is like. Remember the guy came over to us and he's like, I can give you the menu and you can look through and pick out what you like, or you can just let me choose everything for you tonight. And I'll just keep bringing you really great dishes of food.
That was the best birthday dinner ever.
Oh, it was amazing.
He said, what do you like?
Yeah, so we had no idea what was coming out next. Like it wasn't like you ordered a couple of rolls and they bring the whole thing out in the sushi boat.
We had $150 worth of Kobe beef.
Yeah, and by the way, it was like you could put that piece of beef in a shot glass.
It was like for Milo, it was like Chihuahua size dinner.
It was like basically like a kibbles and bits piece of Kobe beef, and so so I didn't even you don't even know what the prices are on those.
No,
things.
and you don't ask. God forbid.
So that was the thing. I knew it was going to be expensive because we just heard about the place. And I think what started the whole thing was Corolla had gotten us a gift certificate for like a couple of $100.
And we were like, we're covered.
Yeah, it was like $250.
That was the tip.
Oh, yeah, you're right. So we're like, let's just go there. We'll check it out. We heard it's a great place. And then the guy, of course, threw out the idea. It's like, well, let me just tell you about this other thing that we do only here. And it's like all the chefs, like special dishes that we don't even put on the menu. And I'm just going to keep bringing them out to you. I'm not even going to tell you what they are. You're just going to It
was a nice experience. It was good for my birthday.
Yeah. So it was actually really cool, and the food was incredible.
So with that being said, let's not do that on Thursday night.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll tell the waiter.
Let's order
just
some rice.
Bring out whatever you want.
If it's under $10.
All right. So what are we doing here?
Do they have early bird specials here?
What's like in the news? What's going on?
There's a lot of stuff going on in the news, but it's also Tip Tuesday.
It's Tip Tuesday. I love Tip Tuesday.
Tip Tuesday.
Yeah, so we have a nice variety of questions.
Really?
And I also threw it out there for people if they want to try some live phone calls for them to call us on Facebook Messenger using their phone call feature, and we could try to do a couple phone calls like that. So if you hear any within this podcast, that means that we kept it in, and if you don't hear any, it's because I edited it out.
That's because you asked some stupid question and we decided to edit out. Yeah, so don't be stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. So so there's a few things that I feel like we have to at least acknowledge. There's some crazy ass shit going on in the world right now with this whole Black Lives Matter and the kill the police movements, and there were so many things that went on.
Getting out of hand.
There was the Baton Rouge.
Now we're getting more on the D, which is like even the whole thing is almost
getting more
like
on the what?
On the defense. They're getting
on the D.
Yeah.
Who says that?
I do.
I've never heard you say that.
Okay, well I do now. Are
you trying to be fly?
It's a sports term.
Are you trying to be fly?
No, it's on the defense, like defense, like a football.
I mean, you're still hot, but I don't know about that terminology.
All right, whatever. Get over it. The cops are getting a lot more defensive, and rightfully so, because they're like basically like moving targets right now.
Yeah.
So it's a scary time because
it is.
They're like triggered. They got a hand on the trigger right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like.
Yeah, it's like in law enforcement, it's like you don't know what anybody's thinking. You don't know who's going to be the next crazy person, or if they just want to take it out on all forms of law enforcement. So what are people in law enforcement supposed to do? Like, okay, so you're supposed to wear a bulletproof vest that doesn't really protect your head. So then what do you do while you're like on duty? Do you wear the helmet, like the riot helmet? And what do you do with the rest of your body? So now think about it. It's about 100 degrees outside plus humidity right now. Think about people on patrol right now that are out there protecting your community, not knowing who wants to rebel and shoot the police. what lengths do the police have to go to now to protect themselves from the complete unknown and these people trying to like make a statement? You know what I mean? It's hard enough for people wearing a polyester uniform and a bulletproof vest. Now what are they supposed to do to protect themselves? Not get out of the car? You don't know which situations that are you going to run into? Are you going to be more apprehensive?
Well, they're totally more apprehensive.
Well, yeah, because law enforcement, normally you run to the problem, not away from it. But now you don't know if you're going to become the problem. And what do you do? Like in this type of weather, it's hard enough to wear a pair of pants in this hot humidity. Can you imagine what it must be like for the police now, thinking how are they going to protect their bodies from getting hurt and dealing with the weather and the unknown factor of these fucking assholes? That's all I can really say. Fucking assholes who would rather have no police than deal with specific problems in a peaceful way.
There's a whole movement now, which you guys may or may not have heard of, like, the whole sovereign people movement, where it's basically like, a group of people that are getting together and saying that they don't recognize the authority of any government.
But you know who they're going to call as soon as somebody's burglarizing their house or if there's a fire?
Yeah.
They're going to dial 911. Those hypocritical motherfuckers, their houses need to burn down to the ground because they shouldn't call the police. They shouldn't call the firemen. Because if they don't want their services, they would rather shoot at them, then you'll also have to suffer the consequences.
Right, and they probably shouldn't be going to hospitals either because there's all sorts of officials that go there as well. So, I mean,
They need to, like, if you want to take a stand right now and live that lawless life and suffer all of the consequences that go along with it.
Here's what's funny about that. How many people in the Sovereign People's Organization that don't recognize any government, how many of them are on welfare and receiving that government check?
I don't know.
I bet they don't mind cashing that check or getting those food stamps, though, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so pathetic. Like the thing that just happened in Baton Rouge, they killed 3 more cops. It's like, you know what? These people need to go someplace else where they don't have to deal with all of you people who don't want authority. Go by yourselves. Go live in another community.
It's a scary time. You know what I just heard, which I was not aware of, is that in the state of Ohio, where they're having the Republican convention kicking off tonight, it's open carry laws there. So if you have a licensed gun, if you're a licensed gun owner, you can openly carry a rifle, a shotgun, a sidearm, whatever, right down the street. So they're worried that a lot of people with this open carry in Ohio, one of the only states that have this, are going to be showing up to the convention, the protesters, armed with their weapons, which by the law in the state of Ohio is perfectly legal.
Wow.
So it was really interesting, like, okay, did you like, kind of shoot yourself in the foot? No pun.
I hope they do shoot themselves in the foot.
No pun intended.
I hope they all shoot themselves in the head and get rid of these people.
Are they regretting having that open carry? I mean, you have to be able to defend yourself, obviously. The Second Amendment right is something that should always always remain. You should absolutely
I agree, because, I mean, the ridiculousness of thinking that putting in more strict gun laws are going to prevent more crime. It's like people, the criminals will still get the guns no matter what. You're just taking away the protection of the people who want to protect themselves from the criminals. Right. It's so ridiculous.
So it's going to be an interesting scene tonight at this convention where they're expecting a huge turnout and a lot of protesters. And they've already barricaded all the main roads into the city.
I can't wait to see the news.
They're taking all the city garbage trucks and all the big heavy equipment from the city owns and blocking off all the roads so people can't drive their cars. There was a protest recently that went on where someone came down and plowed through the crowd of protesters and just mowed people down and killed them. So now it's like, this is the climate that exists out there right now. It's really
because they're animals.
It's crazy.
Those people are animals, and if they get shot by the police, then I'm sorry, but I'm okay with that. Because if there's people that are going to try to kill dozens of people just to make a point, that person needs to be stopped.
Yeah. Well, anyone that thinks the world's going to be a better place without police is clearly not thinking right, because.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Those people need to be stopped.
Obviously, it's going to be anarchy, and then you put a bunch of guns and other, anything else goes type of mentality into that mix.
It's like the Civil War. You know what I mean? It's like it's like they're starting a civil war.
Yeah.
And,
Well, that's really what they want to do. If
Yeah.
you look into the background and what these people are saying, they're basically putting it out there. They do not recognize any government. They do not recognize the authority of the police, and they will not yield to anyone. So, it's going to be, it's pretty scary.
It's just I
to think
feel
about that.
so bad and worried for the police who are doing their jobs. And they're doing the right thing, and they're trying to protect people, and they have to actually now put in the element of worrying about this ridiculousness on top of already the danger that just is inherent with the job. I can't even imagine what it must feel like to be like in the middle of that kind of stuff, because they're making false 911 calls just to have police come to a location.
Yeah,
and you have to go. It's really bad. It's horrible, and I hope that all of these people get some serious karma happening to them, but quickly eradicate the earth of all these people who want to do nothing but cause all this chaos. Because in history, these types of things have actually gotten rid of these idiots, these like redneck, hillbilly, backwards ass way of thinking morons. They need to be wiped out, and hopefully it's taken care of much more quickly this time around before more cops get killed.
Hey, don't be hating on the rednecks.
I'm hating on them.
Listen, that's got nothing to do with it. It's got nothing to do with where you come from or
if you think like that, you're a redneck hillbilly.
It's got nothing to do with anything other than the fact that people are thinking now that they are beyond the police. They're beyond the law, and that they're not going to obey the law anymore. And if they're confronted with the police, they're going to.
I hope that they lose
they're
quickly.
They're going to fight back, and that's really that way of thinking is growing, which is scary because it's setting it's setting a trend right now.
But then they're out there in their tank tops and shorts and flip-flops with their guns, and meanwhile the police are out there, sweating their balls off, wearing a long pair of pants and a vest, and it's just like it's so hard. It's such hard work.
Yeah, all of that makes it harder, of course.
Yes.
But just like in the military, that's part of what you do, right? So you're walking around with 60 pounds of gear and a pack on your back. That's what you do. You signed up for the job. That's what you do. I don't know
No, but I'm saying now these days you have to do more to protect yourself, though, because that's what's happening in Dallas.
They're not only protecting the community; they have to worry about protecting themselves and each other. So.
But that's what they were talking about in Dallas, because that night they didn't want to present as being militarizing the whole police force because they were having a protest. So in order to try to keep the situation appearing calm and more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Right.
They weren't wearing enough protective gear.
Right. They weren't being aggressive and putting
right.
And type of
now looking back, they should have been. But what are you going to do? Wear that shit every night, everywhere you go? It's not reasonable, and it's they don't get nobody gets paid enough.
There's somebody going to be out there like sniping them, and like trying to pick them off, And now everywhere they go, they have to think like that.
Yeah, and look, your head exposed can kill you. Your shoulder from up above exposed can kill you. Your lower gut can kill you.
Well,
a bulletproof vest only covers so much.
Right. Well, these guys are going to basically have to get to the point where they're wearing full body armor.
Yes, I think we're going to get back to what is it, Roman times?
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, full body armor.
It's really a sad state of affairs when this is what's going on in the world. There's so many other things that we should be focusing our energies on. How to cure the diseases that are wiping out populations, and how to cure hunger and poverty and all these other things that the world has to deal with. That really, if we were focusing our energies on stuff like that rather than how to a new way to hate each other, well, let's hope some change comes about soon, and let's hope maybe with a new president he will somehow figure out a way
or she.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that it's not a she, but yeah.
No, well, you're hoping it's not her. Don't say I'm hoping it's not a she.
Yeah, exactly. I think we all know what I'm talking about by this time.
No, I'm saying, you don't want anything taken out of context because you know how people are.
Right. No, it's got nothing to do with the gender. It's got to do with who it is. So,
right.
And, which, by the way, obviously that's the hot topic right now, being an election year and everything else. And I think it's like the lesser of all evils. It's like,
watching Trump right now on TV with that new, with his vice presidential candidate is comical.
Yeah.
The things that he says, it's like, it's a comedy act.
It's really, I mean,
I like what he just said.
When you listen to both of them, him and Hillary, it's almost like, oh my God, how, what do we do?
Well, I mean, you have to admit, she, as far as sounding presidential, she's more presidential than he is.
Well, yeah, but
he's been acting a bit clowny.
But believe it or not, that's one of the reasons why I like him.
I know
better.
I know. But I'm saying he's
not a lying politician. He'll be a lying businessman.
And did you know that he requires or required all of the tax returns of all of his vice presidential nominees, yet he will not provide his?
Right.
That's a little bit of a hypocrisy, don't you think?
Oh yeah. Well, listen, that's a great way to start out a candidacy. So.
Just saying. I don't know what all that means, but okay.
All right. What do we got?
On a more serious note, I found Minnie eating poop the other night.
Oh, that's
from the litter
great.
box.
See, and all this time I thought we were going to go one episode without talking about poop. Imagine that.
Nope, I was really grossed out.
Okay.
Why did dogs do that? It's right out of the litter box.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We're going from like state of the country
I'm
right
just
now
trying to throw some light on the situation.
to the dog eating poop. So that's a great segue right there.
On another note,
what else you got for me, Bedell?
Okay, so I mentioned about the MCT oil that I started consuming in my coffee for the bulletproof coffee. So I've been doing it for about, 4 or 5 days now, putting a tablespoon now in my coffee in the morning, and I can say that it absolutely has affected my hunger throughout the day. So that I do notice so far.
Oh, good.
So
check it out. MCT oil, people. It's
go to the episode summary.
It's a new thing.
Last episode, episode number 107, I think it was, I put a link to the one that I'm using that got really amazing reviews.
Well, it's no secret that healthy fats and proteins in your diet help curb your appetite. They help make you feel satisfied. So when you're eating a high-carb diet, obviously all that's transferring into sugar, and you get peaks and valleys of your sugar levels, which translate very quickly through your system. So you get that sugar rush, and then you get a crash, and you feel hungry again, and it's a signal to your brain that you want to eat again. So when you have high levels of protein in your diet and also healthy fats, like the fats that are in the MCT oil, it also helps curb your appetite and make you feel...
Curb.
Yeah, that's what I said.
You said curve.
No, curb. Yeah, curb your appetite and make you feel satisfied and less hungry. So, not to mention all the other benefits that it offers in your diet and to your whole overall nutrition. So, yeah, check it out. MCT oil,
Cool.
Good stuff, people.
Hey, well, not on a serious note, on a little bit more of a serious note. There was something that happened also in the news that I don't think you knew about. There was a Vanderbilt football player, Corey Beatty, who had been part of a. He and some classmates from his college, they raped an unconscious woman.
Oh.
They were his teammates. They were on the football team.
Good times back then in the football days.
Yeah. So, okay. So he was just sentenced. He was found guilty, and he was just sentenced to 15 years. And remember the guy, Brock Turner, who I had been talking to you about?
No relation to Brock Lesnar?
No. No relation to Brock Lesnar, who, by the way, might have to lose his last win because he has a possible positive on drug testing. Yeah.
I know.
And the guy who lost that fight now is telling Dana White that he wants half of Lesnar's purse, and if he doesn't get it, he's going to leave the UFC because if he thinks that's only fair. So anyway, so there was that guy who, I think it was about, when was it? June, the beginning of June, this other college student, Brock Turner, who had also, he and another athlete had raped an unconscious woman, same scenario, and they did like disgusting things to these unconscious women, and this guy was found guilty. I mentioned it in the podcast, and his father was begging for leniency, and the judge only gave him, I think, just probation. He didn't get any prison time and said, he's already suffered enough and this is already going to affect the rest of his life, and he didn't get any time.
Sounds like
because
another
the guy
night of roofie coladas at the frat house.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what the reason was why these women were unconscious, but what these guys did was really pathetic. So now this guy, Beatty, he got 15 years.
Right.
And he's a black guy, which some people are like saying, look at the white versus black sentencing. And I agree that white guy, I said it right from the get-go, that guy got, his sentencing was ridiculous, and the judge should be like disbarred or removed. Like it's embarrassing that what this woman went through, and that he allowed the person to basically get no sentencing. I think what's pathetic is that what this guy did, he only got 15 years. Because when you think about what's really worse, other than killing somebody, torturing somebody, basically raping their body, doing all kinds of, like he pissed on her head, videotaped it. He was like they were doing all kinds of things, putting things inside of her. And she didn't even know about any of it. They all used their cell phones and filmed it and sent it to people. Like she ended up seeing after the fact all the things that they had done to her. Wow. You have to go online and read her victim impact statement. It was shocking. Like if you don't, you have to just read this thing to really understand what this girl is going through and will be going through for the rest of her life as a result of what they did to her. And he's only getting 15 years. So I'm disgusted with that he's getting 15 years. And I'm also disgusted with that other white kid that got like no time. So I don't know. I'm just disgusted with what the criminal justice system is allowing to happen. With women as victims, and that these guys are getting away with this crap. And there's like a video of this fucking guy, Corey Beatty, crying in the courtroom. It's like somebody needs to stab him in the eye. Yeah, I'll give you a reason to cry,
if
fucker.
If he's crying now, wait till he gets in prison, because they love rapists in there.
Oh, my God. I can only hope. I really do wish bad things on those kinds of people. Because they're animals. Well, they're animals that don't deserve to be in society.
To them one way or the other. So,
because eventually he's going to get out of prison,
right?
And he's an animal, and I really hope that bad things happen to him, because being in prison and getting free meals 3 times a day and making buddies and whatever else, that's too good for somebody like that.
Well, Law Abiding Citizen was a great movie because it basically spelled out exactly what happens all the time, minus the guy that went vigilante and did all that he did, which you have to love that movie for what you saw in that. But really, I mean, that type of stuff does go on. There are deals and plea bargaining that goes on. And it's really, sometimes it's about like the whole conviction record and percentages and everything else. And, I mean, it's no secret that the criminal justice system is far from perfect.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I just don't think that there's any excuse for people who commit that kind of a crime to not get a lot of jail.
So I'm sure this will play out as a black-white thing too.
Well, that's what
hasn't already.
Yeah, they're already saying like, well, look at the they're turning it into the black justice system versus the whites in the justice system. And
is Sharpton involved yet? And
I don't know. I'm looking at it as the victim versus the offender.
Right.
And the fact that they committed such a heinous crime and they're not getting nearly enough punishment.
In that case, it shouldn't matter who or what color or where you're from.
It doesn't matter what you've done in your life.
Commit a crime like that, it's like you need to be seriously punished.
Yeah.
And like I've said it 100 times, and I've said it on this podcast many times. There are some countries that obviously most of their laws are really messed up. To where they stone people in the courtyards and stuff. Obviously, I don't agree with any of that. But some of the laws that exist out there where, rapists get castrated.
Right.
And, people that you're not fixing, they're just evil people.
Mm-hmm. There's some things over there beyond fixing.
These are the people that are your serial killers that start out as kids doing stuff like this that progress into, or they start out, killing all the cats and the dogs in the neighborhood, and that type of stuff. Everyone's pet's gone missing.
You know what? Even if they turned over a new leaf and they find God or whatever it is, they turn into the most wonderful charitable people.
Well, they're going to find God, but without a set of balls because they've already been chopped off.
But still, there needs to be a punitive element that still needs to exist, and it's so inconsistent across the nation and every jurisdiction.
I can promise you, if the punishment matched the crime,
if it did, it would be a deterrent.
If it matched the crime, and you had some thoughts in your mind that you wanted to rape a girl, you would give it a very serious second thought.
If you knew you were going to lose your balls,
if you knew that your balls are getting chopped off. It's just a matter of time.
Right.
It's going to happen.
Right.
There's not going to be a trial. It's going to happen. It's like not like there might be a possibility I can get out of this.
Right.
You rape someone, your junk's getting chopped.
Right.
That's it. I can guarantee you the rape count would go down by 99%.
Yes.
Yeah, because guys,
and the 1% being the idiots that think that they can get away with it.
Well, they're just fucking idiots anyway. They deserve to have everything chopped off anyway. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just really sad that the punitive element is it's just not matching the crime and these horrific.
How about like the sex offenders with like little kids, like pedophiles, right? Like you're not fixing these guys. There is no counseling.
I know all you can do is watch them.
No, you're not fixing
It's
them.
sad.
Like you can monitor them,
Yeah.
you can lock them up in a box, but you're not fixing them. You know,
No.
it's like
because all you're really doing is you can only they're on a registry, so that you know where they are, so you can monitor hopefully to make sure that they're not committing further crimes. But it's like these people need to have more of a harsh punishment. It's just not happening. It's very disappointing. So anyway, I just wanted to put it out there that this victim impact statement is out there on the internet from this woman that they gang raped, and it's really, really, really powerful.
What is her name? Where can people find that?
Oh God, what is her name? Stand by. Oh God, and this guy's mother says, "I couldn't believe it was my son. I really couldn't, because I know how he care about people, and I know that wasn't Corey." Right. He videotaped himself, Mommy. It was Corey.
Yeah, here's Corey holding his phone as he...
Here's Corey pissing on the unconscious woman's head that he just viciously raped.
Oh, not my boy.
Not my boy. He's a good boy.
Not that night he wasn't.
Oh, my God. Now, I don't know that they put her name out there because she's the victim, actually.
All right. So people can look at it by
but just
the story.
look up Corey Beatty, Batey, and you'll find the victim impact statement online. It's on Daily News. It's sometimes like when you see these things online, you get a whole new perspective of the effect that it's had on somebody. What you don't usually think about that. Like, yeah, she got raped. That's really fucked up. Read this thing. Read the details of what they did to her. It'll make you irate that people aren't getting the punishment that they deserve.
Yeah, so if you're feeling like you really want to get very angry about something,
read this.
This is a great read.
Yeah, I like to make you. I like to make people angry. Yeah, get angry, people. Yeah. Okay. So another thing.
We just spawned a whole new crop of vigilantes.
I know. You know what? That's the kind of shit that needs to be going on in the world instead of fighting the police. Go after these guys pulling this kind of shit. Make them afraid to be out and showing their face in public. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is a great story that I found. There was a guy who was on Fox News a lot as a contributor. He wasn't paid, but he was on Fox News all the time as a contributor to talk about things. He was a 27-year veteran of the CIA, and his name is Wayne Simmons. He's getting almost 3 years. 3 little years.
In relation to Homer Simpson?
No, Wayne Simmons.
Oh, Simmons.
Simmons.
Any relation to Russell Simmons?
I don't think so. This guy's white. So let me just get a little bit of this article to you. For decades, Wayne Simmons told the world he was a CIA man, and he benefited from his connection. It helped him talk his way out of an assault charge. It helped him get contracting work. It allowed him to knock more than $400,000 off of a delinquent tax bill. And it helped him get on cable news as a pundit and commentator. But it all was, in the words of U.S. Senior Judge Ellis III, buffalo chips. Because he was never in the CIA. Nobody ever checked his credentials anywhere. He went most of his life saying that he had been in the CIA and that he had been running all of these big missions. He was in charge of a lot of important things, and none of it was true.
Well, I mean, I would imagine that there's probably a lot of really covert people in the CIA that it'd be impossible to ever track. That
this guy's getting time.
We're even in the CIA, right?
This guy, yes. Now that is very true. When you are in the CIA, you're not supposed to tell anybody about it while you're in the CIA, and you're not supposed to talk about things that you've done when you were in the CIA.
Right.
And I happen to know this because I know people who are or were attempting to get into the CIA or were being vetted by the CIA, and there's very limited information that you're allowed to give. This guy was a big jib flapper, and he did a lot of talking about his experience. However, he didn't have anything to back it up. He didn't have any real stories, and he was actually commenting on the presidential nominees. He called in a 2009 clip. He called on Fox. He called House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi a pathological liar in a segment about CIA interrogation techniques, which is pretty funny considering that he was never in the CIA.
Right.
Yeah, I just find that really funny and absolutely humiliating that this guy's going on TV, which makes you think about also, you don't know what you can and cannot believe, even what you see on the news. Like, you see this guy commenting, and they say that that's what he did, but think about all the news that you watch every day. Today Show, Fox and Friends, Good Morning America. Like, they always have people on, right? Commenting about anything and everything.
Yeah, well, I'm on Fox and Friends all the time.
Right. Nobody's ever asked to see your license.
But you can believe my advice on tools.
That you absolutely can.
Yeah.
But like here's licensed contractor Skip Bedell.
Right.
And you are licensed, but no one's ever asked for it. Now think about all the other things that people present themselves on all of these TV shows. People are so quick to believe what they see, right?
Right, true.
You never think to question it. You assume that they've already been vetted.
Right.
So as of tomorrow, I am a professional. What am I going to be professional at?
You're a nuclear physicist.
I am a nuclear physicist as of tomorrow.
There you go.
And I have lots of opinions about these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and global warming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No more Aquanet.
Lots of opinions on nuclear on nuclear stuff.
Okay, Bush. I don't know. I just think that like seeing an article like that is really a wake up call, because I think all of us just believe what they see, on TV, and I just find it really unbelievable that somebody would go.
Well,
to those
yeah,
measures.
I mean, basically, look at most of reality television out there, right? Like, so,
Absolutely.
a lot of it is anything but reality.
Absolutely.
It's it is what it is, but
it's not always.
With the exception of Catch A Contractor.
That's
I've
seriously.
said it from the start, and I will continue to say it to my grave. The Catch A Contractor is the realest reality show on TV.
On television.
Yep.
And we have friends.
I know that because we were there.
Because we were on it. We do have friends who are in the DIY home improvement television space who have told us personally about shows that they have been on and shows on their network, that things that surprised us.
Right.
That were presented as one thing and were another. We're not going to say who, we're not going to say what, but things are not what they seem. People have actually asked us some questions online about Catch A Contractor today.
Because it's Tip Tuesday.
Because it's Tip Tuesday.
All right.
Vanessa Meadors asked, do we ever find out about the past contractors that we've done that we've shown on our show that are still trying to do work, or do they mean it when they say they won't work on another house again? We found out about what the hell's his name? Gilbert from season 2, episode 1. If you look online, it was on Facebook. It had actually been brought to our attention by the victim of episode 1, that she had seen that he not only had gone back to taking jobs as a quote-unquote contractor, but that he had actually scammed this old man out of his money because his granddaughter was online saying, look at this guy. She had a picture of him, and that he was taking money from her grandfather.
That guy was the furthest thing from a contractor.
Yeah, nope. And it was, so he had not only done it again, not only worked again and taken people's money, but he had actually scammed again and stole some old dude's money. We have not followed up on the other people that we have showcased on the show. Because when you think about it, why would we really? I mean,
there's also information that when they come onto the show, there's some things we can't talk about everything that they do. So there is obviously some things that we can't talk about for the whole nature of the show.
But she's asking if we follow up on the people that we've had on the show.
Yeah, well, there's some that we followed up on, like Myron Barker. We know about Myron Barker.
Well, that's because he went to jail.
Yeah.
As a result of working as a contractor without a license. He ended up doing 6 months, and he got $10,000 that he had to pay in restitution as a result of what he had done to the victims on our episode.
Right. So many of the people that were on the show, they come on, and obviously, they agree to do what we're doing on the show. And beyond that point, what they do after that, we can't track everything that they do. But you can probably assume that a lot of them are very possibly not in the business anymore, because once being on that show, their face is pretty much.
Well, I differ on that opinion, and again, I'll say it. It's based on no information at all. It's my personal opinion that that they are. I think that they're not airing episode repeats in America because I think that they're afraid that these guys are going to lose business as a result of being on TV, and they don't want to deal with another potential lawsuit, even though that they would 100% not be found liable, as that has already happened in the past, because they signed to be on the show. They agreed to it. You can't wah later.
Right.
They signed up for it. They chose the best option, and then they tried to, I guess, make a buck off it later. But I think that the network is afraid that more people will sue, and I don't think they want to deal with it.
Yeah, can't really talk about a whole lot of that, but
that's my personal opinion.
Yeah, what I can say within probably rights is that, without giving up any information, is that these shows, in particular reality shows, and especially ours, Catch A Contractor, are subjected to a lot of frivolous and fraudulent lawsuits. Yep. Basically, people are looking to get over on the fact that they were held against their will, or they were coerced into something, or they were whatever. They were actually the victims. So there comes a point to when it becomes almost counterproductive. Like, how many lawsuits can you go through? How much money can you spend to defend the show that's actually out there trying to help people? And that without saying any more than that, what I can tell you is that our show in particular is probably one of the hardest shows to make. Right. Out of any show that's been on reality TV.
Yeah, and everybody that's worked on it said it.
Every member of our crew that have had many years in television, all basically have said the same thing. It's one of the hardest shows they've ever worked on, from a lot of different standpoints. Not only just to actually make it happen, to shoot it, but also from all the legal standpoints and all the other side of it. So, yeah.
That's the answer to that question.
Yeah, to answer
we're not following up on them.
To answer your question or not answer your question, no. There's only so much that we can do legally to where we can pursue these people.
Yeah, so, when we're not going to do a follow-up episode where are they now? So the answer to that is no, we're not.
Well, they might. Who knows? Spike.
Well, as of right now, it's not in the works.
Yeah, Spike could wind up, or some other network could wind up saying, where are they now type of thing. But as of this time, it's not. There's no talk show happening.
Wes Smith says, has there ever been a moment where you thought, someone's going to get it, some serious shit's going to go down, someone might get shot or run over by a car or something, legitimately feared for your lives?
Yes. I would say in a number of episodes, some of the areas that we worked in are really very heavy crime areas. We were in the heart of Compton. We were in some really very dicey neighborhoods. In fact, one of the episodes that we were shooting, the day that we were shooting it, someone was murdered one block.
On the street, down the street.
On the same street, just a little further down. It was a crime scene, and there's a lot of gang activity in some of these areas, and so not only just random drive-by, stuff that could occur just from being, within gunshot range.
Yeah, there was some
but
neighborhoods
then, of course,
where you
got to worry about.
You don't know if these guys are showing up with a weapon.
You got to worry about the people that we're stinging, and the guys that we're getting on the show that they're coming there, and once they find out what's going on and who we are, they're not happy about it. So they could listen. Realistically, anybody could be like, yeah, okay, I'll be back tomorrow. We're going to fix this place. We're going to get it right. You don't know if they're coming back with with an automatic weapon and going to level the whole set. Right. For the most part. Not for the most part. I would say there was not one person that was happy to see us on that show. No. Hey, I'm on TV. Yeah. Nope, not one. Out of the 30+ episodes that we did.
I don't think that that you feared for your life as far as the people that we were dealing with.
There was a few times that I can say there was a couple of episodes that I can remember, on the final day, on the date. I thought that possibly something was going to happen bad. For instance, remember the day the guy Ronnie on the episode that with the plumber guy with the Israeli woman. that episode in the very last scene. And again, nothing that we do is rehearsed or scripted or whatever. Obviously, it goes through editing for time and everything else to cut down useless content or uhs and ands and stuff like that. But we never even knew what was going to happen. Like in the sting scenes, when they come through the door for the first time. Or even when they show up every day. Who knows if they're going to show up with a weapon. They might be pissed off.
I think that we were more afraid that she was going to kill him.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There were some definitely...
She was no joke.
There were definitely some very dicey situations between the homeowners and the contractors.
I had some conversations with her during the sting. Yeah. And she had told me that there was some connection to... They knew Avi. Avi Cohen from episode 2.
Yeah.
They knew him because he was also Israeli. They were all from the same community, and they knew him. And she had also said something to the effect of, because they're Israeli, something like they have a house in Israel, I think, if I recall correctly,
where bombs go off every day,
and that it was all. I don't remember the wording that she used, but it was basically, if I'm going to summarize it, to the effect of like, they have family in Israel, they know where his family is, and like mafia kind of shit.
One way or the other, they're getting some satisfaction.
Yeah, like some mafia shit was going to happen.
That's who knows, but that same episode at the very last moment that you watch on the screen, there was a reveal scene, and we gave them back their house, and then of course there's always that uncomfortable moment, the last couple of scenes that you see in the show, to where the contractor comes out and they have one last chance to kind of speak to the people, the victims, have one last chance to say whatever they want to say to the contractor, and then hopefully never see him again. It's always an uncomfortable moment.
Very uncomfortable.
Because these people have been out of their house now for sometimes weeks or months as we're fixing the house. And then finally they come for the big reveal. Oh my God, it's amazing. We love our house. And then we're like, well, there's one last thing we got to do. We got to bring out so-and-so because now here's your chance to say your piece and whatever. That particular episode, there was a point to where the guy said, and I'm not quite done yet. I have something for you, too. And he went to reach back in his pocket. And I'm like, oh, man, here it comes. Here it comes, right? Because we're all like, they all looked at us, and we're like, oh, shit. Like, what, has this guy got a gun? Like, who knows? Right. And really, like, there's a lot of adrenaline flowing in the room. On those days, whenever the homeowner's around, and also on the sting scene especially, we never know what's going to happen. But also we never know what's going to happen like the days when we're fixing the house. Any one of these guys could show up pissed off. We all have power tools and hammers in our hands and everything else. There have been many times I've been walking around the job site with, Joe Blow contractor guy behind me who has a hammer in his hand, and I never turn my back on anyone.
And some of these guys hated you.
They all hated me. They should all hate me because I don't take any of their shit, and I call them out on their shit, and I tell them to go fuck off and get your shit right, or stop doing what you're doing. Is stop robbing people and calling yourself what I am, because you're not what the fuck I am. You're a fucking thief. And I got no problem saying that. Yeah. So, none of them liked me at all. Yeah. And I'm sure if they had the opportunity to do something, they would have. And many times it got really, it got crazy, man. It was like, there's things that like you don't know. That's all I can say. It's like it got very heated. And anyway, so that particular scene in that episode, yes, that was season 3, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that one I thought we could be in a bad situation right now. It's like a second of time that went in slow motion when that guy went to reach back in his back pocket, and he pulled out an envelope of cash. And he went to hand it to them. And he goes, not only did I come back and fix the house, but here's your money that you say that you gave me.
Right.
And he gave her back her money, too. Right. But when he went to reach for that envelope, we didn't know he had the envelope. And I was like, oh, shit.
There was like a Facebook war between the people, Ronnie's friends and her camp. That I saw on Facebook, like where everybody was like calling each other out on shit and accusing each other of lying. Like it continued on even after the episode aired. Like people, she had a lot of haters after that episode because people found themselves very divided about which side that they believed.
Well, listen, all I know is that when we take the episode, when we choose to do the episode, we are obviously there to represent and stand behind the people, that we've already decided, that we've looked at all the facts, and from what we can see, from where we're standing, it looks like they were wronged, and we're here to help and make it right. So obviously there's many, many people that write into that show, and we're not involved in the casting process, and I've said this many times, we're not the ones that decide which stories we're going to do. The network's involved with that, the casting people are involved with that, but once we get there, we have met the people, and now we see really what their story is, and all the way through that story, just like all the others, with the exception of the Floyds, which we called out in that episode, season 1, episode 2, was it? We called them out because we figured out halfway through that, what they're telling us is not really what it is.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, who's really to say?
Yeah,
but,
I mean, of course, nobody's got a crystal ball or is a mind reader. We can only deal with the facts that we're presented with.
Yeah, it's he said, she said, and literally in that case, it was he said.
And
sometimes
she said. It's not so black and white. Sometimes there's pieces of information that might have you thinking, well, maybe on this one aspect, though, maybe it wasn't as presented. Like, it's never all one way or all the other, because there's so many other details and stuff that there's not even time to go over. It's not like, it's not.
Well, for the most part,
it's not court TV.
There were very few instances where I could ever say, and you know what? If the contractor was right, and there was a couple of times where the contractor made a couple of good points, and me being in the business, I know that I've had some customers that are really difficult to deal with, and you can't make them happy no matter what you do. And now maybe with the opportunity with a show like ours, they might have, a chance to get the whole house done for free. So who knows what people are capable of.
Oh, yeah.
But I can honestly say that, in doing every episode that we do, it's pretty clear that, the contractor or the so-called contractor has done people wrong.
Yeah. Yeah,
and that's really, again, why I'm very happy that we have the opportunity to do the show at all, because I think that there's so many more good contractors than there are bad. I mean, these guys really do give our whole industry, they hurt our industry. They make people not trust us. So
let me try to get to some more questions, and let's try to answer them more briefly, because we're going to be doing this all night.
All right.
I want to get to everybody's questions about everything.
I'd like to do it all night with you.
Okay.
And with that in mind, let's end this quick.
No.
Because we got other things to do.
Ted Schneider asked, do you ever rip these guys? We always see Skip drop reality as Adam ridicules, but do you ever slam them? I don't know if you mean like figuratively or literally.
Is he talking about like physically slam?
I don't know. I wouldn't even answer that question really, because I don't even know what he means.
Ted always gives us good questions.
Yeah, I just don't know if he means literally.
You got to be a little clear about that.
Get more specific.
Yeah.
John Urell. What's up, John? Know him since I'm like 16 years old.
Oh, wow.
Have any of the bad contractors ever hit on you before they knew you were going to expose them for being frauds? Well, that's how I was able to get some of them to actually make the appointment. That was how we did it. Use the girly charm. Hey, I need you to come over for an estimate.
Right.
So, I mean, that was how I was able to get them to, because they don't really question much when they're like, okay, here's a nice lady that looks okay, and right. I'm going to go to her house.
Yeah, I just want to see more of that.
Yeah, it wasn't like I got like heavily hit on, like nobody ever touched me or nobody ever like propositioned me. But there was always that element of eye contact and flirt. That's because that's how you get them to agree to come for the estimate. Brett 6, what was the funniest thing you ever saw a contractor do? Oh, God, there's too many.
Well, I can tell you one of the funniest things that I saw on the show that the Corolla did with the contractor, and I don't even think that he knew that he did it, was the guy that another kitchen episode, I think it was in season 3. God, I can't remember his name. The guy who had fallen supposedly and injured his face.
Oh, yeah.
And so he had said at some point this, we were talking about his work and how bad it was, and and he was like, "Well, it's not too much terrible."
Yeah, and then they made him a bumper sticker or like a bumper magnet.
They made like a big magnetic sign for the back of his truck.
Not too much terrible since 19-something, 1980s. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was actually very funny because and he went out there and he saw it and he was like, oh yeah, thanks.
Yeah, he didn't get it.
Like they made him a sign for his truck, but he didn't even realize what it really meant because that's the way he said it too.
Because it was the language barrier.
Right.
The funniest thing that you ever saw them do though, like what's the most like stupid thing you've witnessed somebody do? You're like. I think probably Manny. He had a lot of stupidity.
Oh God, Manny was just like
there was a lot of things that he just
Manny.
Framing over a carpet.
Manny just did things that just made no sense at all. So yeah, he probably would take the cake as far as doing. Stuff that you just look at and be like, dude, what were you thinking? Like, instead of, I'll give you an example. He was framing a wall, and instead of using whole 2x4s, he actually used pieces of 2x4s and then nailed them together with other pieces of 2x4s. So it's almost like in the cartoons, like when Wile E. Coyote, would build a wooden bridge, and it was like a bunch of little pieces of wood that were all nailed together, right? With nails hanging out of it and stuff, like scraps of wood.
Yeah.
That was it. He was like a modern day, like Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah.
He was like, he thought he was building this. I don't even think he thought he was building it good. Like, I just don't think he cared. Like, he was getting his materials out of dumpsters of other real contractors' job sites, like, the cutoffs and scraps and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
he was the biggest clown.
Yeah.
David Fournier, of all the episodes filmed, was there ever one contractor that got wise to the setup and just split, never to be seen again? There were just people that just didn't show up. You didn't see those episodes because there was no episode because they just didn't show up to the sting. There was, though, what was it, season 2, where the guy was looking, instead of going right to the front door, he looked over the fence and he was about to walk into the backyard because the job he thought he was coming for was in the backyard. Right. And so he was going to walk right into the back. And
there was a few that actually walk. Many times we would be set up in some part of the house or set up in a garage or somewhere or the next door neighbor's house or whatever. And, where the whole camera crew, where they have all at the base station,
Yeah.
So they'd walk past that and actually kind of look in the window a little bit, and everybody would have to duck down.
Yeah.
There was
a lot of suspicious guys.
Yeah, there was. Oh, you know who it was? It was the two brothers, the Armenian brothers.
Yeah. The one with their loafers.
Yeah, that was season 3 also.
Right.
Yep. They actually drove around the block a bunch of times.
Yeah.
They drove
and there were ones, remember when we would be doing a sting in the morning, but we'd have one scheduled for the afternoon as well. And these...
Well, let me clarify with that. So when we're doing these things, we'd have to get a house to set, it's like a vacant house, and we have to set up, with the whole hidden camera crew, and there's a lot of people, and everything has to get wired into this house well in advance before this person's going to show up for their 9 o'clock appointment to give you an estimate on your bathroom or whatever. So there's been many times to when we'll do 2 in one day. We'll have a sting in the morning and then a sting later on in the afternoon, but we use the same property because we've already rented the property for a period of time or whatever. And we have it all set up.
Right.
But sometimes the morning one might be late.
Right.
So we got a late start.
Right.
And then there was one day the morning guy came an hour or 2 late.
Oh, he was really late.
And then the afternoon guy came early.
And he was circling the block.
And we actually still had the morning sting contractor was still at the house when the afternoon guy was driving around and went by the block, and one of our lookout people.
I had one of my PIs in the field following them.
Yeah, you had your people in a van, with cameras out the window. There's basically scope out the whole block.
Yep.
And they're like, there's a problem.
Yeah. We had 2 guys at the
contractor
same
number
place.
2 is here.
Yeah. And we weren't done with number 1.
How about the day Corolla came over the back wall?
I got that all on film. Actually, I still have it on film on my camera, on my phone.
We're doing a sting. It's early in the morning. Corolla's stuck in traffic on the 405, which is basically par for the course on any day, wherever you are in L.A. You can't get
traffic
anywhere.
Everywhere.
So unless you have a helicopter. So we're all set up. We're ready. The contractor is about to be at the house in 5 minutes and still no Adam Carolla.
Yeah.
He's not there. Now, we can't...
He's almost there.
We can't, call this guy up, really, without seeming suspicious and saying, well, can you come a little bit later? It kind of feels, not right. So they tried not to do that.
It was going to be just you doing this thing if he didn't get there on time.
Which would have worked out fine, but we wanted to obviously have, we want to do it like we normally do it.
Right.
So I think they actually did make a call or you called or somebody called. Did you remember? Did you call him and like say like I'm still out? We're going to be back in like 20 minutes. Could you come a little bit later?
I don't think that was that episode. I think there was another episode that we tried to do that. I think that episode, Adam ended up showing up, though, at the same time as the guy. So Adam went to the block and back of the house, cut across the backyard neighbor's lawn,
rather than pull up to the front of the house.
Yeah.
He went around the street behind the house that was parallel to that street, and went through the backyard neighbor's yard and jumped over.
They put up they put up a ladder on our side.
Because every property in California has like a cement block wall between the houses instead of like a regular fence.
And then he also had to change his clothes too. Because Adam wears the same thing every day, but not on the show he doesn't. So they needed to change him out of his clothes to be wearing what he was going to be wearing on the show for that episode.
Oh, that was so funny to see him coming over the wall, and they put a ladder up so he could like scale the wall and then come down the other side on the ladder. Yeah.
There were people that were like, "Oh, that was fake. That was just set up for drama." And I'm like, I have it on my personal iPhone still. That video of him climbing the fence and showing up, and they're trying to like quick put makeup on his face as he's walking, trying to like powder him because he was sweating because it was so hot.
Yeah, everybody was soaking wet that day. Him especially, climbing over the wall and shit and running. He like ran down the block.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if you were ever questioning the authenticity of that scene, it was all real.
Yep, all real. I got it on video, as well as the aftermath of the fight between Manny and what's his name? Oh, God.
Oh, Mario.
Mario, yeah.
Oh, that was great.
People were also
I changed my mind, motherfucker.
Yeah, I after the whole thing was over, like, and they got rid of Mario finally, like, they broke up the fight and they got Mario and his wife out of there. I took my iPhone and like covertly recorded the aftermath because I knew that people were going to be like, "Oh, that was fake or set up, whatever," and I wanted to get the conversation like that you were having with Mario out in the street where you were telling him like, dude, that's not cool, you can't be here.
I told him, I'm like, listen, man, you can't, we're here to try to get your house fixed, and we got to have Manny come back in order to do that so we can school him and go through the whole process of what we do on the show. And if you come here, he's not going to, he's going to be afraid to come to the house. So we had already moved him out. He was out at a hotel. They were on the way out. He was clearing out, getting the clothes packed. And they were gone, him and his wife.
But then they came back.
And then Mario drove around the block, and he told his wife, he says, "Oh, I forgot something. I left something. I got to go back to the house."
Yeah.
So he pulled up down the block, so
no one
saw him pull up, and he snuck down the block and came in again through a neighbor's yard over the fence and came in through a back window into his bedroom.
I don't even remember.
And then all of a sudden, you see the guy come running into the kitchen when we're filming with Manny.
Yeah.
And with the most famous line ever on the history of Catch a Contractor. I changed my mind, motherfucker, because he was like, we asked him because they were. I mean, he was really hot. He was, because they were good friends for years. And if you know anything about Manny. He was in the Marines, and he served with Mario.
Oh, don't go over the whole episode. You're talking too long.
He was pissed. So the guy came through and was fighting. Yeah, that seemed absolutely everything. I mean, everything we shot was real, but there were certain things that people said, well, did that really happen? First of all, everything really happened. Yeah.
Yeah. And one more question on that, and please let's answer it quickly. Denny Chimichanga. That's his name on Facebook.
Love that name.
Have any of the contractors turned themselves around and gone legit? Can some of these guys be redeemed? I don't know. We don't know. We haven't followed up.
There's been a number of them that at the end of the whole process with them, we felt like we really made a change. We felt like
but
we
then
really...
again, what's his name? What's his name? Gilbert?
Yeah, but, like anything can happen,
He seemed the most sincere out of all of them.
I think the most sincere, the guy broke down and cried, and I mean bawled like a baby. That was Gilbert, season 2, episode 1.
And then he ended up doing the same shit again to somebody else.
Yeah. So do I think people can be redeemed? Yes, I do. Do I think a lot of these guys just got in over their head? Maybe they weren't just really downright criminals. They were just stupid.
Lots, yes.
I think that's probably the most part, and some of them were redeemable, bad. And some of them were just criminal
minded. Some of them
minded.
were just bad guys.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I'm not going to say who was who, but I think that we actually did turn a couple people around.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so now I think we should get to some. I mean, I have so much to talk about. Fuck. But we have to get to Tip Tuesday.
I thought this was Tip Tuesday.
Those weren't tips.
Well, they're questions, right? Isn't that isn't that what we're doing?
Well, no. Let's hit some tips. Those weren't tips. these are some question
Well,
tips.
get to it then, woman.
All right.
When helping people with their homes, they call Skip Bedell.
You want to avoid a headache and save money, he's the man to talk to. Skip Bedell.
Well, Lynn Steele wants to know if there's any tips for keeping mosquitoes away in the evenings. We use this awesome spray by Cutter. It is all natural. It is not any chemicals, and it is a lemon oil spray that you spray on. It's like a yard fogger, and you spray it around. It is intensely strong. It's very strong smelling. It definitely helps clear away a lot of the mosquitoes. And if you spray it on them, like if there's like a pond or something, you spray it on there, they die fairly quickly. But other than something like that, and using all of the and smoke, like if you have like a fire or a fire
You can
pit.
also have exterminate. They do like yard spraying and property spraying, and they'll come like once every week or once every 2 weeks.
But
and
that can get costly.
It definitely does help keep everything down, the ticks and mosquitoes and everything that you might have there. But yeah, it does get a little costly, but it's effective though.
Yeah, that's effective. But I like that Cutter spray because it's natural and you can spray it around the animals, and it does work. It smells very strong. But what I've actually found is that using a spray with like 4% DEET, I know DEET's got a reputation, but that works too. I've been spraying it on every day and night since I found those 4 ticks on me because I can't be too careful. Carrie Dern Stratton. Hi, Carrie. And, Carrie, I have to apologize also. There are some other things that I did see that you had commented on online. My time is just so limited. I haven't gotten a chance to get back to you, but I apologize. I did see everything that you wrote, and I'm going to attempt to answer all of your questions. She said, Skip, every tool seems to be battery-powered now. Is that really better than something with a power cord? What is the downside to battery-powered tools?
Well, I mean, the downside is probably what seems to be the most obvious. Obviously, the batteries are going to run out of power at some point. So battery-powered tools now are really the thing that's happening because the technology in batteries, first of all, from the runtime has just gone up like, tenfold. And, of course, the speed in which you can actually charge them. So most of these battery-powered tools now come with 2 different batteries and a charger, which means you can have one on charge while you're running the one that you have in the tool. And hopefully the one that's on charge can charge before the one that you're using runs out. So there's no, downtime. That is the downside to having a battery tool, that if you have downtime, you don't have enough batteries on charge. Other than that, they really are great because they're for the most part lightweight, and also they give you the freedom of being tethered to a cord. You don't have to worry about dragging around a cord with you. You don't have to worry about having a long enough extension cord. If you're working all around a job site and you're working in and out of multiple rooms, and you're bringing, let's say, like a screw gun or something that you want to transport from room to room on the job site where you're working, you're going to need to have power in each one of those places, or a long enough cord that you're now dragging through the job site and pulling over ladders and things like that. And you always have to worry about tripping on it. Or if you're up on a ladder, and let's say like a framer or a roofer, and you have you're up on a high area and you have a cord that you're worrying about, it's one more thing that can trip you up and send you off the roof or send you off the ladder.
I think it's also really important to point out, just looking at her question again, that it is equal or better than something with a power cord, because we've just recently seen the Milwaukee and DeWalt batteries that they are showcasing now for this year that are super, super strong. They last super long. They're not like your previous NiCad batteries where you charge it, it would run out, or the stronger you needed the tool to be, it would actually give you less power.
They didn't have enough charge to runtime ratio to where you were left without. You would run out of power before the other one was charging. And a lot of the NiCads, which now with all the lithium-ion batteries, they're a third of the weight. They're a lot lighter, and they charge faster, and they run much, much longer. They hold the charge much longer.
And there is no loss of power at all.
Well, that's something that we noticed definitely with both of these companies, and Milwaukee and also DeWalt, especially with some of the technology they have with their batteries. I mean, I tried out everything from circular saws to even a table saw and even a 12-inch sliding miter saw which, by the way, I just received today from DeWalt. It just got shipped today, and I want to say a huge thank you because DeWalt has just been fantastic, as Milwaukee has been as well, just sending us some great products to try out and talk about. So I'm going to be taking a bunch of pictures and talking about them on Instagram and online and stuff and giving you guys my thoughts. But, yeah, I received that 12-inch sliding miter saw today, which runs on two 60-volt batteries, which are larger than your average rechargeable battery for your tools.
It's the new Flex.
It's the Flex Volt battery system that DeWalt has just come out with, which is really amazing because these batteries will run on your standard 20-volt battery, which all my tools are. They clip onto the same battery receiver, but they're 60 volts. So now you don't have to go out and get a separate line of tools just to keep up with the new battery. You can run them on your old tools, all the new 60-volt tools. But everything from table saws to circular saw to even a chop saw, I mean, everything that you can imagine, like, hole saws, everything, they're all battery now. And that's really where all these companies are going. They're trying to figure out a way that the tool is going to run long enough to where you're never going to be without a charged battery. And they're accomplishing it now. So the only downside I could say really about that is that they're a little expensive. So, if you're a pro, you're going to invest that money because, that's what you do. It's part of how you make money. As a homeowner, there are some other companies out there that have a little less, less expensive products, but maybe you're not going to have quite the quality in batteries and tools, of course. So you definitely get what you pay for. But that being one downside to it, and then of course also, if you're left without a charged battery, which again, as I just mentioned, they're really addressing that problem. They've come such a long way. I was super impressed with both Milwaukee and DeWalt that we went to recently. I'm just blown away by their tools.
Yeah, we went to Milwaukee. We're like, oh my God, this is the best in the industry. Nobody can beat this. And then we went to DeWalt. We're like, oh my God, look at all these, look at this power.
Yes.
Look at how long this lasts.
The power
it was just
is just crazy. It's actually there were some things that I felt was even more powerful, or the power band of the tool, meaning like when you're cutting through a piece of wood, even a corded tool, you'll feel it bog down a little bit. You can see the lights in the room dim a little bit because it's really sucking the juice out of the whole electrical system. Like, you don't feel that there's no bog down in some of these tools. Similar to what they say about electric cars. There's no lag in power. So, like, when you step on the gas of a Tesla, it's constant pull. There's no, like, where you can feel the shifting of the gears and you feel like the car step down for a second while it goes into the, there's none of that. It's just a constant supply of power. And what a lot of these tools are doing now, like it used to be, like you'd feel them slowing down and they, like the battery would run slower and slower and all of a sudden the tool would just like, brrr, it would stop running. Now what they do is they basically, the light will blink, a minute or two before it's, gonna start, really dying down, and then the tool just stops. It just shuts off.
It won't give you shitty power.
No, so you're going to get full run power right to when the battery's out, but it will give you notification that it's going to be running out, and which gives you time to go and get your other battery. So. Oh,
well, and also do Ted Schneider a favor. He likes to hear about new products. Talk about the light that you just got from Milwaukee.
Oh, so the light that I just got from Milwaukee is just off the chain. I love this thing. I'm a big fan of work lights, and I have a lot of different kinds, and I'm always looking for something that's going to be the next thing and durable, easy to use, easy to transport. And when I say durable, it has to stand up, being in and out of the truck, in and out of the trailer, and falling over and getting knocked over. And, job sites are rough places. So Milwaukee just sent me this light, which I fell in love with when we were out there. It's called their Rocket Light. And if you look on their site, you'll see it. I'm not sure if it's available for purchase.
Is it
available yet?
I don't know. It will, but yes, September. Yeah.
You'll see a picture of it folded up over my shoulder on Facebook, and it kind of looks like I'm carrying a bazooka. But the thing is actually really cool. It has a built-in tripod to it, so you press a button and you slide out the three legs that come out like a tripod, and it extends up to, I think, 7 or 8 feet. And it has a super bright work light that comes out of this telescopic tripod. It runs on the M18 rechargeable battery, which runs all of their tools. And I think now they also come with an electrical port that you can plug in a extension cord to power it as well. Yeah. So that's a really great feature, and I'm very, very impressed with that light.
Yeah, this was when we went to the Milwaukee new product symposium.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that stood out to you as like, holy shit, I have to have that.
Yeah, I wanted it. And you know what I also really wanted for? I want a few of them because we use LED lights when we film stuff and we take pictures on job sites and things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm always looking for something that's going to give us good light.
Yeah, and that one has, what, 1,000 lumens? It was really powerful.
I got to look. I don't want to say without being accurate, but I know it's a very, very high.
It was like the highest.
Yeah, very high lumen output for its class. And what I loved about it just feels super durable. It feels like you could just drop the thing, out of the truck.
It lights up everything. And there's like, you can walk into any place with this thing that has no power, no generator, no nothing. Set this thing up and you have a sick amount of light in the entire place.
Yeah, it's a great light. So that would be my suggestion. I mean, there's a lot of good lights out there in the market. DeWalt has some really good products as well. I haven't received any of those yet to try out on my job site, but I do have one in my hand right now of the Milwaukee light, and I got to say, so far, I'm very impressed with that.
Yeah. Eric Goranson asked, "Hi, Eric."
Hey, my man Eric.
We love Eric Goranson. Eric's been instrumental, by the way, with helping design our kitchen.
Eric Goranson has been a huge help in helping design the kitchen. He is a kitchen and bath designer out in Portland, Oregon, and also a good friend of ours, and really has helped us out tremendously with the whole layout of our kitchen design and stuff. And this guy's just a master. If you need any help with the design layout, check out Eric Goranson. You can find him on Facebook
He's
as well.
on this post asking for questions for Tip Tuesday, and we trust him, so you should too. He asked, how do you handle clients that want to play a part in the remodel project?
Oh, love those. Those are the best.
Have you ever had them try to do the work and cost themselves more than if they would have left it alone?
Yes. I have.
I know of some people I could think of that you said that were like they're over your shoulder the whole time, making suggestions to you, like maybe should you do it like this?
Yeah. So there's two things that I don't really care. Well, there's a lot of things I don't care for in people because I generally just don't like people, but but especially customers that decide they're going to stay home every day and just basically follow you around and watch you and stand over your shoulder with everything you do, and then offer their advice on how to possibly you could do it even faster or better, or it's called micromanaging.
You did an estimate.
There's a reason why you hired me to do your job, so you don't need to do that. Because
you did an estimate 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we've all established the fact that I know what I'm doing, or she wouldn't have hired me.
The guy was asking you if you use the proper screws in the what was it?
God, I don't know.
Oh, Angela's husband.
Oh, yeah. So this is a kitchen customer that I'm about to start. Oh, no. Bathroom customer that I'm about to start working for. And he asked me what kind of screw, was I going to use the right screws to screw down the substrate, the cement board on the floor of his bathroom before I tile.
Like he was like letting Skip know, like, because most guys don't use the right screws. Like he was letting him know what screws he should use.
All right, so here's my take on that. And I think I said this to you when I came home from that appointment.
You're far too kind. That's why you're taking.
Well, I try not to overanalyze things, but I also understand people to the point to where I kind of get where they're coming from sometimes. So here's what happens generally when I go on a sales appointment. I'm sitting down with especially a married couple, and I'm talking to them about the work that I'm proposing to do in their home. It's usually the woman and the guy asking me a lot of questions, but many times I'm basically providing all of the information. And really now, so there's two men in the room. There's the homeowner guy who is his house, who has now decided to hire someone else to do the work because obviously he either can't do it or doesn't want to do it. And now here I am now talking to his wife and telling her why I'm the best choice for the job. I'm your man. I'm your man, right? So I'm the guy who knows how to get this job done. And I always feel like, yes, granted, a lot of homeowners, men or women, they don't either have the knowledge or the skills or the tools or whatever. There's a reason why contractors do what we do, because there's a need for us, right? And for the most part, most people don't have any understanding of what it is to do what we do. So I get that, but it is, I think, somewhat a little bit, it has to feel weird for the guy. Like I can't think of hiring someone to come into my house and do something here that I would be like, oh, I don't know how to do it, or, it would feel weird. So I guess because I'm in the business. So when he asked that question, I think that was just his way of saying in front of his wife that, like, you know,
I know something.
Yeah, I know something about that. You know, it's kind of like, the only thing he had to say after all the talk about the different plumbing fixtures, I'm talking about cabinetry and the type of shower tiles and floor tiles and the everything I'm talking about. Electrical upgrades, plumbing upgrades. He's like, and you're going to be using, he mentioned a particular type of screw, right? And you're going to be using this kind of screw on the floor, right? And I'm like, yes. As a matter of fact, yes, I am.
That's the one you're supposed to use.
Yeah, because that's the only screw that you would use if you were doing that job. And he was like, oh, yeah, well, yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
You know, so when I came back from that appointment, it just felt like, I don't know, were you there for that question?
I was sitting there. Yeah,
you were standing. Yeah, you were there. You were you were around. I think that at some point you had went out to the car and you didn't hear the rest of what I was walking through the rest of the house for the job. But you did catch that part.
I caught that, yeah. And I was like, that guy's a dick.
No, but he wasn't, though. He's not. That's what I'm saying.
I don't like people, like, insinuating, like, you don't fucking know what fucking thing you need to use. That's what you do for a living. And, like,
right.
I just felt it was insulting to even ask the question.
I got it, and I entertained his question, and I kind of, you know.
You're just kind to everybody. Well, I'm the bitch half.
I'm kind to some people that deserve to be kind to, that are just sometimes, you know, maybe they're just not in the know rather than being assholes.
Okay, so now back to Eric's question about how do you handle clients that want to play a part in the remodel project. Now back to that roof that you did for that woman that had that other chick there.
Oh, good God. Yeah. All right. So, first of all, I will say this, Eric. Most of the time when people say that they want to do part of the work because they want to save some money, as I'm sure you well know and will agree with me, it's always the demo. They're like, well, I'll do all the demo and I'll get everything ripped out. So when you guys get here, you could, you know, so they think that, like, now the price is going to be dramatically reduced because, you know, they pulled down some drywall or whatever it was they did. So first of all, I don't want people doing their own demo, because demo, much to people's surprise, they might think, well, anybody can do that. Anybody can break a wall or anybody can cut down whatever. Yeah, and when you're doing that, you're also damaging the electric, you're damaging the plumbing, you're damaging things like we know when we do demo how to do it, so only the things that we want to remove get removed and not the other things that are staying. Right? So that's part of the reason why we get paid to do the demo, in addition to that, you know, we're insured if anything happens, it's going to be protected. And also we're doing all the carting, we're bringing the dumpsters, we're getting all the stuff off your property. So, hey, listen, if you want to take all that stuff out and you want to take it to the dump and everything else, then by all means, you know, you can do the demo. But, you know, no, I don't really care. If you're hiring me to do the job, then I do the job from the start to finish. As well as some people say, well, you know, I want to have someone I know do the electric or do the plumbing or whatever. I'm not really big on that as well, because I've established a network of people that I work with regularly that I know that we all work well together. We all understand how each other works. And also, as you know, if you know anything about a job site, that's like, you know, coordinating like, you know, a musical symphony. Everyone has to work in time and they have to get their job done right, or else the next guy's not going to be able to come in and do his work. And so now if we have a new player in the band who doesn't understand how the rest of the bandmates play that song, they could very seriously, you know, delay our whole timeline, which now is going to back other people up, and maybe they're not going to be able to do their job. So, yeah, I kind of frown on that, too. But, yeah, to get it back to what you're saying there, Alison Bedell, about a recent job that I just did, we did a whole roof on someone's house, a full rip, new skylights, the whole deal, right down to the sheathing, redid everything. She had, when I went there for this sales appointment, there was someone there, a woman, that was...
Just give the full description like you did to me. Just tell it like it was.
She was a pretty rough-looking chick. She was in a painter's, like, whites, but I would say, like, I had a hard time knowing if it was a man or a woman. She was, like, you know, like as butchy as they get, you know, and even talk like a guy. Like, talk very rough. Like, oh, yeah, what are you doing? You know, I was like, who is this? Is it... What is it?
This?
What is it? So she was there doing some painting and I think hanging some blinds for this elderly woman that I was now going to talk to about doing this whole roof job. She had no idea who I was. In most cases now when I walk into people's homes, oh, dude, I love your show and I love what you guys do, and they're just so happy that I'm there because I'm talking to them about now doing stuff on their house. So the fact that I know what I'm doing, we've already established that, and I'm there now to basically discuss when we can get the job done. It's not like, they're not vetting me, right? So this person decided that she now is going to look out for this lady, who, by the way, is the sister of one of my longtime clients and also a neighbor of ours, right? So they've already said, this is who you're going to have do your roof. Oh, I wasn't going there to
talk her into
anything. It was like, we're just figuring out when I can do it, you know? So, and she didn't even really, I think, really know. I don't know. She really knew. She never watched our show, the lady herself, right? So, I don't think she really understood like the magnitude of what it is that we do. But anyway, this person that was in her house had no idea who I was. So she decides she's going to be like
the person who vets you for her.
Yeah, she decides she's going to like be my role on Catch a Contractor.
Right.
And she's like, oh, so how long you been doing? As I'm sitting there with the woman talking to her, I'm showing her samples of the roof shingles I'm going to put on her house. And we're talking about what, the type of skylight I'm doing. She's like, oh, so how long you been doing this? And so why should she think that you're any better than the next guy? And how does she know that you know what you're doing? And how many roofs have you done? So I'm like, well, how about this? How many roofs have you done? And she looked at me like, I'm like, you're a painter, right? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, you're a licensed contractor? She's like, well, I do it on the side. I'm like, okay. Well, how many roofs have you done? She's like, well, I've done a few. I'm like, really? It's you've re-roofed the whole house. You've stripped off a whole house and re-shingled it. And she stopped talking. And I'm like, all right, so let's just leave it at this, that I've been doing this for many years. I've lost count of how many roofs I've done years ago. This is what we do. And the people that I'm bringing to this house to do roofs every single day of their life. That's what they do. Only roofs. They don't paint rooms. They don't hang blinds. They just do roofs. So she was like, all right. And she got like real nasty. She was like,
she was challenging everything that you were saying.
Yeah, she was told, and I was like, really? Am I doing this right now?
Am I auditioning for this woman?
What is there a camera hidden here somewhere? Like I felt like what the hell?
And at some point you were alone with her, and she said something real snippy.
Oh yeah, she said something like. Something like, I don't want to have to come back here and kick your... Something.
Yeah. And then when you were, leaving, she, what did she, hit you or something?
It was, really, I was like, who the hell is this person,
Yeah.
So I said to the lady later on in the conversation, I'm like, look, I'm happy to come and do your roof for you, but do me a favor, make sure your painter's not there when I get back to the job.
Because she was saying that she's, in the union or something.
Oh, yeah, she's a union painter. She works, in commercial buildings through the union, and she paints for a living. Well, good for you, but you're not a roofer. You're not a general contractor. There's no way you're going to tell me anything about doing roofs that I haven't already done or know.
Right.
And she's questioning even if I should be doing this job at all.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, really? Right now?
Yeah, she was challenge. I think that there was some damage in a ceiling or something. And
she says something. So when you give her the estimate, you're going to break down on the estimate, how much is for materials and how much for labor and how much you get an hour for labor. Because she's like, I'll come and do this. I'll come and do this roof myself, and I only charge $300 a day. And I'm thinking really. This is a 30-square roof. Really? You're going to come and rip the whole thing in one day and re-roof it? Because, by the way, we're also re-sheathing this whole roof, too. All of the plywood was all rotted. So we're going to basically rip off this entire top of the house, which I had a crew of 12 people there that day. And they worked from sun up to sun down because we don't ever open a roof unless we can get it closed the same day. I don't tarp roofs. I don't ever do that. I will not do the job unless I know we can get it done the same day. So I will bring 40 people to the job if I have to. The roof is getting shingled before we leave that day. So I'm thinking to myself, wow, you're going to charge her $300 for the day's labor and you're going to do the whole roof? Okay. All right. We showed up with a crane. It was it was an army of people on her roof, and we got it done the same day.
That woman ended up apologizing to you because that chick was just so inappropriate.
Yeah, the lady felt really bad. She's like, because this chick is she's calling me Skippy. She's like,
oh,
she's like, and how do we know you know what you're doing? How do we know you know what you're doing there, Skippy? And I'm like, really, bitch? Really?
Yeah.
I'm about to kick you right in your ass right now, all right? You and your fucking white painter's pants.
She was awful. Shit.
Oh, God. Yeah, she wanted to, like, have a fight with me or something. She was just like, I actually felt...
I think she hit you in the arm or something. Like, you said that she did something physical, like she...
Yeah, when I think it was like, well, if I first walked in or first walked out, she, like, kind of, like, slapped me on the back like a dude would do to one of his buddies. Like, hey, what's going on there, tough guy?
Yeah.
And I'm like, who the fuck? She sounded like someone out of, like, the Jerky Boys or something.
I think that was my ex.
Oh, but yeah, my
first girlfriend.
No, your ex was way better looking than her, yeah.
Yeah, but the same voice.
Oh, God, yeah. She was rough, man. Yeah. I felt like I was talking to one of the guys at the bar or something, you know? It was like...
Yeah, that would be my ex.
Yeah, Skippy, so when are you going to come and do this roof? And you're going to break down the materials and labor, right there, Skippy?
And I'm like, who the fuck are you? What are you? Go back to wherever you can. Crawl back into your fucking paint can and get out of my face.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that was a rough one. So, hope you found that amusing there, Eric.
Let me try to get through some more of these. Michelle Mertz. Hi, Michelle. Her dog has been getting hot spots on his belly. Is there anything she can do to prevent them? So, yes. She also said she forgot to mention that when Curtis notices the hot spots, he'll take the ass wipes and use them to clean his belly. No, they don't really help. They actually have some little bit of chemical in them, too, that might not agree with your dog's skin. There's a lot of hot spot spray that you can do and stuff that tastes disgusting to get them to not lick it.
We've tried a lot of those things with Harley,
because
right?
Harley has that on her arm.
On her wrist.
Yeah, she's got a compulsion.
On her front paw, she constantly licks the fur right off her arm.
Coconut oil is actually something that is very healing. It's got antibacterial qualities to it that if you were to put it on the skin, it actually helps heal it. But it's also edible, and your dog will probably also try to eat it. What I have found after using prednisone to get them to stop the compulsion, and I've tried antibiotics and did I say prednisone? Prozac for the compulsion, prednisone for the possible itching, which might, to try to rule out why they have a hot spot. What I found ultimately to be the only thing that worked was to protect the site by covering it with something that they can't get through. So our dog doesn't bite through the sleeves I put on her arm. Some dogs will try to rip off whatever they have on them. But what I would try to do is put something. There's a lot of things that are made for dog healing their skin. There's a number of products that your veterinarian can give you that we have a couple of them. They work fine, but I think that the most important element of using those products is to put like a shirt on your dog or wrap it, in something that, like a breathable cotton so that they can't actually reach that area.
Well, the counterpart to that is they put a cone on their head so they can't get to the spot.
Yeah, and a cone sucks.
The dog's like banging off the walls.
Yeah. And there's also these inflatable tubes to put around their neck. There's a huge variety of things you could put on their neck to keep them from licking it. And they all suck.
The problem is that once it heals and is completely
then they get to
gone,
it again.
If they'll go back to it. Now, many times it could just be something that, it was a flare up and something, affected that spot. Maybe it was an insect bite. It was something that, caused them to have an itch and want to, continuously lick at it to where they actually make themselves raw. And when it heals, maybe that'll be the end of it.
Yeah.
But then you could have a situation like we have with Harley to where we'll let it heal for a month or 2 months. It's covered. She can't get to it. She's got a cone on. And the fur is actually grown back in. The thing is completely gone, healed. And within 30 seconds, we take off whatever it is that's protecting it. She's already opened it back up again. And this has been going on for years, right?
Yeah. Well, Michelle's asking, I think, is there anything she can do to prevent the hot spots? If that's what you're asking, the answer might be no, because there's also something called, like a condition called pyoderma, which, sometimes they have just something that is in their system.
Well, they could have an allergy.
Yeah, exactly. They could have an allergy to something. You have to really use a lot of process of elimination to figure out what the issue is. And if you've tried everything and they still get these issues, really all you can do is protect the area, put something on it that is soothing and healing, and cover it so they can't get to it. Because even if you use a cone on a dog and it's got a hot spot on its belly, it can still go on the ground, roll, try to do things to scratch it.
The belly's a tough spot.
Yeah, it is. So, try to get a shirt on it in a way, something that it can't really scratch at, like a straight jacket, something like that.
A straight jacket. We're going to put a link to straight jackets on our site for you, Michelle. So,
yeah.
Straight jacket.
We have a couple more questions. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to save them for Friday.
Yeah, we're like...
And I didn't get to any live calls. We'll save that for Friday because you know what? We just went off on tangents and we're really very long-winded today.
Yeah.
It's all your fault.
I think it's mostly your fault.
I think it's all you.
No, this is not me. It's you. Jabberjaw.
Yeah. I do want to remind everybody about not only YouTube, but look for us on iHeartRadio, and also HammerNailsPodcast.com is our website. And on there you can find the links to Amazon. If you use Amazon, please do us a solid. Just click on our banner, and you don't have to go to our website every time. You can just go there once. Drag the banner up to your bookmark bar, and you'll have it there every time you want to shop at Amazon. Just click on the banner, and it'll help us out a lot. We also have the PayPal link. That really helps us out a lot, too, you guys. We really appreciate the support. Again, we don't make any money on this, but it costs us money to do it. And if you really dig what you're listening to, if you can really tolerate us, we appreciate any support that you might want to show us in the form of financial support to help us pay for the podcast. We really appreciate that.
And for God's sake, tell your friends about it.
Yeah, you know what? People, tell your friends, because I know if you're telling your friends, I'm like Santa. I know if you've been good or bad. I know
she is too, because she knows about shit.
I
don't even know how you know what I do.
I know if you've been sleeping. I know if you're awake. I know if you're telling your friends.
You have eyes in the back of your head. I haven't found them yet, but I will.
Yes,
I will.
I do.
And
so
you have a lot of hair back there.
Yes, I'm a private investigator. I know if you've been telling your friends, and I'm disappointed in you people. I'm disappointed. We really
and with that, we will say
people.
we love you guys, and thanks again for all the supporters and coming back each and every week, and we'll catch you next time.
Love you guys.